Hey, 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 I'm back. So I'm going to start off with only maybe just one question right now because life and be lifing, okay? And between doing the videos and again, I'm still a traveling massage therapist and taking care of home and everything. It's a lot. So maybe I'll just be able to put one or two videos out a week or as much content as I can put out. That's what I'm going to do. But today I'm going to answer the question of course, is it cheaper? Um, so I again when I first started, I watched a lot of YouTube videos on everything costs, blah blah blah, and one of the videos that stood out to me was that you can make it as expensive as you want or as cost effective, cheap as you want as well. What I will say is going into this, and I can talk about it a little bit more if anybody has questions. Your credit definitely has to be in order. This is a RV is a recreational vehicle, which financing and buying and all those things. I mean, if you're buying it outright, then it doesn't really matter. But I started off with the financing aspect because I was using my credit and not my money at first. And I'll explain that a little bit more as well. Sometimes you get a better deal using your credit versus actually just going in and like saying, oh, I have the money, I'm just going to buy it outright. And sometimes that works as well, in terms of buying a home and things like that. Of course, not everyone always has $200,000 or whatever to go invest into a home. And some RVs and motorhomes and fifth wheels are that expensive. Mine did not cost that much because I do not have that much money. Although overall, I'll say I had that credit, if you will, but um, in terms of money, you want to still have the money to match your credit. And no, I have not graduated to that at all. I have quite a few things that I'm into. Again, my husband has quite a few things that he's into, but we are nowhere near $100,000 status to just be throwing out $100,000 just like that. So again, is it cheaper? In some aspects, yes. In a lot of aspects, no. Again, you have to remember this is house on wheels. So anything, breaks down or whatever, depending on how long you've had it. Again, mine is a 21. So it's a little bit newer, but it's used. So some things you just will have to keep up a little bit more. And if you buy a used one and they didn't take very much care of it, then you'll find that there'll be little things that you'll come across, or sometimes major things that you'll come across that they just didn't take care of or overlooked or whatever. So you'll have to stay on top of that. An RV from a used one to a new one is anywhere from $20,000 depending on size and amenities that you want to, like I said, the $100,000 to $200,000 range. Again, depending on what you need, accommodations and amenities that you want. We started off super basic, so mine was in the much cheaper range. We paid roughly around 40,000, and it's a nice size. It can sleep up to 10 people. Um, so that was great. When now the other thing that we're working on, because we both still have cars, we don't have a truck. So again, like I said, the towing situation was a little more difficult to work with, because it's either we go rent a U-Haul or pickup or something like that, or we pay for a tow. So we've done both. And I should have done a video on that, but we do plan to move in the next couple months. So traveling, I will show the hookup and what it all entails and all of that. Actually, I had discovered that we were missing a pin, so that can be something too. And it's the pin that actually locks the uh, ball joint into the truck. So if you don't have that pin, you can basically drop your RV in the road. It does have emergency brakes where it'll stop and it won't be too much damage, but that's a major inconvenience. You don't want to do that. So again, so the credit part that I was talking about, again, because it's a recreational vehicle, qualifying for it is a little bit different. You have to have minimum 700 credit score, which all of these things I learned just, again, inquiring, wanting to transition. There's a few legalities about saying whether you want to live in it full time or if you're just using it for recreational purposes. So I will give the disclaimer of, if you are thinking of moving into RV life full time, maybe just start off saying and also trying to just use the RV recreationally first, because again, there are a lot of red tape things that you have to go through to live RV life full time. And I'm going to do another video about that too, talking about mail and your driver's license, all of those things. Again, when you purchase the RV, it will be registered to where your license is. Every state is different when it comes to RVing, what you can do in the parks in that state, what you can do on your own property when you have a RV, if you own a home, if you don't own a home, where you can park it, all of those things, state to state, they do vary. So I would say do as much research as you can for that. Every state, again, will be different. I can help out with New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey because that is mainly my area where I rotate between and for work and everything. So again, the parks are different. Going down south, it's a lot different. In the warmer climates, though, I will say, again, in those states, the laws are a little different. The camping, if you will, all year round is different because, again, it's in a different climate, different state. The more colder states, majority of the parks, depending on where they are not open all year round. So that becomes a nice little challenge on finding a park to go into during the winter time, or if you're going to be what they call moondocking or boondocking, which is just basically using your RV and only stopping at rest stops and things like that to fill up your tank. When you are moondocking or boondocking, you have to call like the people that register for like the that get you the porta johns or the spotter pots, or whatever those things, or the portable toilets. You have to have your sewage dumped or have them change it out or whatever, empty your tank, because you can't just dump your sewage. The gray water, you're not supposed to drop it just anywhere. Although if you're near a drain or something like that, they tend to not bother you as much. But the sewer, you definitely cannot drop that anywhere. You have to dispose of that waste properly. So cons, if you will, of expenses, it's about the same in terms of where you're living. Again, we're a little limited because we don't have a truck, so we can't move around as much to maybe offset some of our costs. So we're bound to being on campgrounds. Campgrounds can be inexpensive or super expensive. Some can be as low as $500. When I was bouncing around a little bit in between the parks, and I was calling to see where we could go and everything, somewhere upwards to $1,600 a month. And not to say it doesn't include nothing, but it really just is for being on the property. If it's a very nice campground, which we have been in a very nice campground that was moderate. It wasn't if you will, it wasn't super cheap, but it wasn't super expensive either. but it was nice. It was a gated community. It had a pool. We were all the way in the back, so that was great. Again, there are some that is not that, and you'll still pay $8,000, $9,000. Not $9,000, but you'll pay, 800, 900 to $1,000, and you're literally just hooking up to the campgrounds. They have very few activities, but some, again, the cost, again, depending on where you are, what it all includes, is really what you make it. Then again, if you're financing, so now you have total of whatever your cost is for your trailer, rig, RV, whatever you want to call it. Um, you have bears under my feet. Uh, you have that expense. Then you'll have your ground rent. Um, Most parks, electric is not included, so you'll have that expense. If you're using propane, you'll have that expense. Again, as I stated in the previous video, um, we use the propane very limitedly, so I don't so much have to include that into our expenses right now. I'm really only using that for, special occasion. So holiday time, want to make a pie or a little, extra special cooking, then I'll do that. But otherwise, we have rice cooker, air fryer. What else do I have? I had the crock pot, and it also came with a microwave, so we get by. Um, what else? I think that's about it in terms of expenses. If I'm missing anything, again, please put down in the comments, hey, what about this? But I really, really wanted to talk about very quickly the cost of it, because some people are like, oh, I'll just do that, and you will save money to an extent, because our logic of thinking was, again, we wanted to buy a house, but the house was way, way, way too expensive. The house market is not very good right now, and this was a better alternative for us. But again, in terms of making that full time transition, you really have to set yourself up good for that, in terms of where you're registering your RV to. If you have a home, maybe you're going to rent out your home and do the RV living. Again, maybe you're just doing it seasonally. Those things you really have to figure out, but you want to go into RV life as debt free as possible, because things do come up. Again, when you're moving and traveling, some parks are a little more expensive than others. Right now it's cold where we are, and I don't like to be cold at all, so I have two space heaters going, as well as I'm using the RV heat, but the RV heat is propane, and we already talked about that. I don't turn that on a lot, and plus I just don't like fooling with it. And he's not here also, and we're also not here a lot, because I'm still working and traveling. He's working and traveling, so we are full time, because this is where we come back to. But we're also on the road outside of being in the RV as well. So it works right now. It really has to make sense for you. Maybe if you have a child that's getting ready to go to college, you want to kind of save some of the money of the expenses of maybe a big house, something like that. It does help a little bit, but you're still, again, roughly paying $2,000 a month for living. So then it becomes, okay, do I just pay the mortgage and stay in a home, or do I stay in the rig? Best part about it for me is you have house on wheels, though, so you can go anywhere. You are paying, yes, that $1,500 a month, depending on what park you're in or whatever, but it's not stationary. You can again pick it up and go. You can go anywhere you want. You paid $1,500 this month to be in Arizona, and you paid, I don't know, $1,000 next month to be in North Carolina. It really is it's up to you. You, again, just do the researches of the parks that you want to go to. If you work from home, that is amazing. That's what I'm trying to transition to, so that I can just use my Wi-Fi. I have a Verizon Wi-Fi box, so I can just hook up. That would be great. That's what I'm trying to transition into, and then we'll have a lot more freedom to move around. But we're also working on, like I said, getting the pickup truck. So that is all for today. You guys have a great day. Talk to you later.